Well now, I haven't done an in-depth look at my shop in quite a while, so I thought it's about time. Oh boy. This summer I have not done much machining work. Well, actually I did a little bit, but let's start over here. This is my welding table, such that it is. Welder's down there. It's just an old Lincoln tombstone. Got a press over here, whatever it's called, one of those things. And this is a latest edition. This is a pipe vise, and it's just for holding round things when you're going to do stuff with round things, like tap them or run a die over them or something like that. This is my old Grizzly micro mini lathe that actually started me on machining because I really enjoyed using it. And I picked this up recently. It's a flywheel attached to a grinder and works great. You don't have to use electricity to make it work, so to me that's a plus. I've got several grinders around. That toolbox is full of screwdrivers. This one's full of drill bits and drill bits. And drill bits all the way down. Oh, and these things are full of itty bitty drill bits. And drill bits, and drill bits, and even more drill bits. Because this is my drill. I have this drill, and I have this this Jet 16 lathe, and this Precision Matthews 727V are my mills. Well, mill drills. But mostly I use this thing. This is what I've been working on lately. Hand loading is a hobby of mine. And as you can see, there's quite a number of hand loading presses here. That's for casting bullets. This is set up at the moment for 38 Special. I've been running it as 38 Special cowboy loads, which is 17 grains of black powder, triple FG, backed by these semi-wad cutters that I cast that are loaded flush with the top of the cartridge, of the shell. That way it's much more compressed. Plus, once you do it that way, let me put that back in my pocket. Once you do it that way, they'll fit in the Howell conversion cylinder on my 1851 Navy, which is basically what I'm interested in doing, is shooting black powder in a 1851 Navy. I've also got a Howell conversion cylinder on my Colt Walker, and I can shoot these. These are also loaded. They're loaded with black powder and lead bullets for a cowboy load of that. Now here, this is for bullet sizing. I've got a bunch I need to do. That box is absolutely full of them for my cousin. And this is my Dalton type or lot 4 or type 4 or something like that. It was a 1920 or 1922 built lathe. And Dalton as a company went out of business in 1929. So they did not survive the Depression. Where is the lid for this? I need the lid for this. I don't know where the heck I put it. It should be over here somewhere. Oh well, anyway, I've restored this. It's not completely restored. There's a piece missing here, and the banjo, these things just don't hold change gears right. So, and this thing, I just cannot seem to get to stay in place. So, it has basically 3 speeds it can, well, 6 speeds it can do. And but it works, and I've got it set up right now, well, usually with this thing. This is my my rifling jig. It's basically a Jacob's chuck that has usually it has a what's it called? A masonry drill bit in it that have carbide tips on them, and I can run that in and out, and this should have a Oh yeah, it's got a thing on it so that it'll run in and out, and that's the twist rate. That's 1 in 8. This is my parts washer, but it's not really a parts washer. Actually, it's a what is it? It's a. This is full of evapor rust. So, in fact, I think there's something in there. Come to think of it, here's a it's a 12-ton press, so it works. I restored this from, I got that at Goodwill, put a new motor on it, had to put a new belt on it, re-lubed the gearbox on the thing. It doesn't have a fluid on it, but if you sit here with a squirt gun with some WD-40, that works. These are my drops of metal of various kinds for working with. Oh, and over here, those are molds. And the far left is cast bullets that I've created. Here's other drops of metal up here. This is all my exotics, brass, bronze, nickel. I think there's zinc in there, copper, aluminum, some different things that are a little hard to come by. What the heck is that doing in there? Huh. Let me take that and put it back in the screwdrivers. Oh, this toolbox here is loaded full of mill accessories, different mill bits of various kinds. This is loaded full of reloading dies. You never know. And what else do I have? Oh, this is my collection of wrenches. I have a few. Quite a few. Quite a lot, actually. And then for the mother huge ones, I've got this collection up here. It goes, from 1 5/8 inch. I think I've got up to 2 inch somewhere around here. I don't know what that one is. That's 1 3/8, okay. But I know I've got a 2-inch wrench somewhere. And some, like, there's a die wrench down there that's just huge. But over here, this toolbox, die wrenches, tap wrenches. This is chisels, punches, center punches, and in here I keep my collection of extra vices. Everybody needs a vice to keep a grip on themselves, This is interesting. This was like some kind of scientific instrument of some kind, but I use it basically for metrology, for measuring stuff, because I don't have a standard granite block for doing that. But I've got this. Yeah, that thing needs to be repaired. Oh well, make a note of that. Extra toolboxes. This one here, well, actually these two, contain my, here's a stair level, various things. That's another stair level. This is, stuff and nonsense. You know how it works. Kind of cool stuff, but, here and there. What is this? I forget. Oh, yeah, itty bitty guy. Yeah, that's a real big guy. Oh, brown and sharp. Central. These are kind of fun. These are really old, really ancient, but they still work. That's a gauge. It's an old one, but it works. So is this. This is an ideal. Digital. What I like about these micrometers is they're digital, but they're not battery operated. They're analog digital. I prefer that to battery operated. This, what is this? I forget. Oh, this is my Mother Huge Starrett. Picked that up in a thrift store or an antique store north of here. And this is loaded full of those, and I've got another one in here. I forget what's in that, but various things. This I got from a cousin. This I got from an old lady in Chicago whose husband was a machinist, and he had it in the shop. And when he passed, it just sat in the basement for, I don't know, a century. And she finally unloaded it. This I bought a long time ago, but I use it for this and that, pins. I guess those are some Starrett gauges, pins, tool bits, various stuff. Put that back, put that back, put that back. Stuff. And I got this from a cousin, and it's great for holding extra toolboxes. Those are various things in there. And then over here, this is a cart I picked up, and it's got various toolboxes on it. This is my grinding station. It's got brushes, and that I had to restore that. This is my grinding stones, and this is probably the best of the grinding stones I've got. I like it. I got it from my dad, and I know he got it from a sale was being held at the Grange one day. A fellow with a semi, I think he was delivering tools, and whoever it was would not accept them, so he was cutting his losses by selling them off there. And it was really dirt cheap for him, so he picked it up. Oh, and these here, you would see these kind of metal drawers in libraries for years holding hard catalogs. Well, I picked them up, and I use them to hold pins and lag bolts and brass fittings and square head bolts and set screws and word assorted brackets, hex cap screws, bolts, nuts, washers, hose clamps, lug nuts, screws, pulleys, stuff. And that's a Lawson. Lawson was a company that used to sell nuts and bolts ages ago. I don't know if they're still in business or not. I picked that up from another cousin. And same with that collection of drawers here. And it's they're just loaded full of all kinds of things that you can, well, like for instance, I was just bolting something down and thinking, oh, these screws are just too small. So I just came over and grabbed some washers and put it together, and it worked. And that was basically why it's there, so that I can go and get a left-handed widget when I need it and load it up. Also, these are unsorted nuts, bolts, screws, springs, pins, whatever, in coffee cans that I picked up over the years, and just keep them here in case I ever need them for something. It's proved me well many times. Generator in case you need it. Oh, and I should I should show you this. Over here, that's my collection of gunpowder of various kinds. Oh, and those are cutoff saws up on top of various kinds. And junk. I mean, I've got junk out the kazoo here. You can see it's just full of junk. A lifetime of junk. Oh well, that's the woodshed. This looks like it's just a cement mixer, but it isn't. If you're ever cleaning brass, take a small mixer, fill it full of steel pins, water, a little bit of dish soap, some Lemmy Shine, and throw your brass into it. Run it for an hour, and run it with clear water. That's a sausage maker from the turn of the last century. I was trying to restore it, but the thing is shot. It's just locked up and rusted all to hell. So, I mean, I tried cleaning it out and stuff, and as you can tell, it looks like hell. It had some kind of Japanning on it, but that's all worn off, alas. And this is what my anvil-like device. It's actually an old railroad rail cut off and nailed down here. It works. Vise. Oh, and here's my forge. I haven't done much with it this year. I just keep stuff in it, but that's my forge. And over here we have extra steel and brass and copper and aluminum and stuff for projects. I see it's getting to be a cloudy day. It's probably going to rain again. Oh well.